In this edition of Free Stuff Friday, I'm going to show you a way to improve your writing.
Free Stuff Friday.
So before we get started, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Webinar Jam Studio. Now, for those of you who don't know what Webinar Jam is, essentially it's a webinar software similar to GoToWebinar, but with so many more features for marketers. And in Webinar Jam Studio, they take that even further. You've got an entire studio control center, attendee spotlight so you can bring attendees in as guests. You can do active offers and sales right inside the webinar that have countdown timers and scarcity unit controls. All you have to do is head over to raisebonuses.com/webinarjamstudio to learn more about the product and to see all the great bonuses we have for anyone who purchases. Okay, so if you're like me, you probably find yourself having to write stuff all the time, and maybe you don't consider yourself to be a writer. Things like YouTube descriptions, blog posts, Facebook posts, all those types of things require you to write. Well, how would you like to learn to be able to write even better? Well, there's a new app online called Hemingway. And what this does is it allows you to bring in your writings and it will tell you what you're doing wrong. Too many adverbs, too many adjectives, wrong sentence structure, all that kind of stuff will be shown right inside of Hemingway. And best of all, it is, of course, free. So let's take a look at exactly how this works. Okay, so here we are at Hemingway, which you can find at hemingwayapp.com. Now in here you'll see that they've got a default text in here that kind of shows you some of the things that Hemingway will do for you. And you can see you've got some yellow highlighted areas, and if we look over here, it shows us that means that there is one of 10 sentences that are hard to read. So what you can do is come in and edit this until you improve the sentence. Now in this case, I'm going to turn this into 2 sentences and capitalize this. And you can see that turns to normal text now, meaning that they approve of that sentence. Now this is a much more complex sentence here. So what you'll want to do is, once again, we'll look at this and maybe right here, we'll turn this into 2 sentences. Okay, and you can see that instantly this sentence becomes clear again, and this one turns yellow, meaning it's still difficult to read, but not too bad. And quite frankly, I think it actually works well the way it is, so I'm going to leave that one. Now here they highlight this in blue, which means that this is an adverb that we don't need. So we can actually come in here and we can just delete that and improve that. Now you'll notice here, okay, this highlights in green, which means that this is the use of passive voice, and that in most cases you don't want to use passive, you want to use active. So they're suggesting that we changed that. So adverbs are shown in blue. So maybe we could change this to appear. Okay, so adverbs appear in blue. So now we come down here and we see we've got a purple one here, and they're saying we should be using an easier word. In this case, change utilize to use, which we can do. And in the final one here, it says phrases in green have been marked. And that's, again, passive voice. So we want to change this to something other than have been marked. So maybe we'll say, we'll change this to phrases in green show passive voice. So now our sentences are all cleaned up, except for this one here, which is a little bit complicated, but I actually like the way that one reads, so I'm going to leave that alone. And you can see we've improved this vastly in just a few steps. And you can really see how Hemingway helps you out with this. It helps you to use easier words. It helps you to remove adverbs that you don't need. It teaches you to get rid of that passive voice. And it teaches you to take your complex sentences and make them easier for your readers. Now, there's also a desktop version right here. And you can see that they have it for Mac and PC, and it's a whopping $6.99, and quite frankly, well worth the price. But of course, because this is Free Stuff Friday, we're showing you the free version, which you can keep using at any time at hemingwayapp.com. Well, there you go. That's Hemingway, an app that will help you to write even better, look smarter, and be able to get your point across even better. Until next week, I'm Ray the Video Guy. Have a great Friday.
Free Stuff Friday. Free Stuff Friday.